Okay, so I'm continuing around, and let me rotate this center line into place, and I just want to rotate this one from the center as my base point again, and copy, and we want to use an angle of -60. Okay, and then we will rotate this line, and let's again from the center point, copy, and -45. Okay, and let's rotate this line counterclockwise by 75 degrees. Okay, so now we have our center lines drawn in there for our for the view that we're working on. But you'll notice that we're not coming up with a center mark here in the middle, and the way we need to do that is to there may be an easier way to do this, but I'm not aware of one. I'm just going to draw a couple of circles. I'm going to move those, and the endpoints of the circles were the endpoints of the center mark that was created by AutoCAD. Okay, so I'll move that in there like that, and then trim in between the circles, and then I'll move and if you use the tool to do this, of course you don't get this arc in here, and also your crosshairs point straight up and down, okay, which is not the correct way. This does just take a few seconds. It's really not that bad. Okay, now this one's being a little bit of a pain. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to a continuous line type just momentarily, so I have a good intersection to snap to. Alright, and then I'll change this back to make sure this is on the correct layer. Just kind of highlight all these, make sure that I haven't changed anything. I really didn't want to change that line type, but I had to. So line type should be by layer, and I'll make sure it's on the center layer. Okay, so there we have our center lines created, and we have the nice crosses in the middle there. So let's create our center line. Again, we're on the center layer for that, and we want the center line in between these 2 points, of course. And one way to do that is to create our line. Hold down the Shift key on your keyboard, and then right click, and you get mid between 2 points. Select that, and then select that line, and then that line, and it'll put it halfway in between those 2 lines. And then you can, if you have your perpendicular object snap on, you can just click there. Okay, so since we're on metric here, I'm going to do a distance measurement and see what kind of settings I have put in. 2.5. So let's just use the lengthen command and enter a delta value of 2.5. This is probably a little short of where it actually should be, but this is fine for this exercise. And let's do it again. Shift right click, mid between 2 points. Okay. Alright, so it looks like we are, well, we need one more center line, And I think this time I can just copy from the intersection point here and place it on the midpoint of this long line. Oh, or not. Oh, I can't because I trimmed it down here. Let's turn our construction layer back on. We can use that. So let me copy it now from the intersection and lay it on top of that line. Okay. So let's turn the construction layer back off. All right. So it looks like we have created our views with center marks. Now we just need to go into model space. I mean, in the layout tab, and let's line up our drawing in there. Okay, and let's find a scale that works. I sure would like to use 1:1, but it looks a little too large, and that looks a little too small. Well, what I can do, I think if I were to move this view a little closer to the left view, or the front view, that everything will work fine. And you have to be careful doing this. You can only move the right side view here left to right. Okay, if you move it up or down even a little bit, it throws the projection off that you worked so hard to do. So I'm going to move this a little closer. And if you have your polar tracking turned on, you can make sure that that's correct. Okay. Now this looks okay. All right. So we're at a 1:1 scale, and let me get out of model space. I'm going to lock my viewport. Of course, you want to remember to fill out your information here. Now, the last thing we want to do, actually, we have two more things to do. We need to apply our hatching. So we need to create our section layer and our cutting. Sorry about that. And our cutting layer. And let's see, what size do those need to be? Let's see. So cutting, and this needs to be magenta with a dashed line type. And the line weight should be 0.6 millimeters. And let's create a section layer. And the color will be blue. And the line type should be continuous. And the line weight should be default. Okay. Now our cutting plane line this time needs to start where we're right here, okay, except over in this view. And remember, we're working in metric, so we're going to have to use a little bit different measurements than we did last time. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to my cutting plane layer, and let's use a polyline. So PL enter, and I want to project over from here, and I'll let the beginning of my arrowhead be somewhere in this area right here. Okay, so I need to define a width. I'll type W, enter, and pull my crosshairs to the right. My ending width, well, there's 25.4 millimeters in an inch, and so my ending width in inches was 0.1. So if I multiply 25.4 times 0.1, I'll get the measurement for metric. So 2.54 is my starting width is 0. My ending width is 2.54. Okay, so there's my arrow. Now my length should be 0.175 times 25.4, which is we'll say 4.5. Okay. All right, now let's redefine my width at 0 starting and 0 ending, and then I'll go to this point, and I'll go up and go beyond the visible edge, okay, to here, and then I'll go to the left, and now I need to redefine my width. So W, enter, and oh goodness, I can't remember. 2.5, that's what it was.